Maya Rodriguez didn't save Kim Jin-seo out of heroism. She did it because she couldn't stomach the math of leaving a body on the tracks, only to find out later that her mercy was worth exactly $3 million, along with the tiny addition of a target on her back. The freight schedule never changed. Every morning at 3:15 a.m., the southbound Union Pacific rattled through the underpass beneath 6th Street, shaking loose decades of rust from the bridge supports above Koreatown Plaza. Maya Rodriguez knew this the way she knew the rhythm of her own breathing, automatic, inevitable, the kind of knowledge that came from 2 years of pre-dawn sanitation routes through the same 12 blocks of cracked asphalt and shuttered storefronts. She was hauling a commercial dumpster away from the loading dock behind H-Mart when she heard it. Not the train, something else. A sound that didn't belong in the pre-dawn quiet. A wet, dragging scrape, like meat being pulled across concrete. Her hands tightened on the dumpster's handle, the muscles in her forearms, already burning from 3 hours of lifting, locked. She stopped, listened. There, again. From the direction of the tracks. The smart thing would have been to keep walking. 5th Ward, Houston, and taught her that much. Mind your business, finish your route, get paid, go home. The $1,847 she had in her checking account wouldn't cover her mother's next insulin prescription if she got hurt and missed shifts. The math was simple. The choice should have been too. But her boots were already moving, crunching over broken glass and discarded kimchi containers toward the chain-link fence that separated the alley from the railway embankment. That's when she saw him. A man, mid-30s maybe, Asian, lying across the southbound track, one leg bent at an angle that made her stomach clench. His coat, charcoal wool, expensive, the kind with Italian labels she'd seen in the windows on Wilshire Boulevard, was dark with something that looked black in the sodium vapor lights, but was probably red. His face was turned away from her, pressed against the rail, one arm stretched toward the opposite track like he'd been trying to crawl. The freight's warning horn cut through the morning quiet. 2 miles out, maybe less. Maya's fingers found the holes in the fence, the ones the taggers used. She squeezed through, felt the wire scrape across her shoulders, her hips. Her work boots hit the gravel slope, and she was sliding, half running down toward the tracks, her mind already doing the calculation she didn't want to finish. He was too big, 6 feet, maybe 190, dead weight if he was unconscious. She hit her knees beside him, grabbed his shoulder, rolled him onto his back. His eyes fluttered. Not unconscious then, worse, aware enough to feel everything. His pupils were blown, shock-wide, and when he tried to focus on her face, his mouth moved, but no sound came out except a thin wheeze. "Can you stand?" she asked, her hands already under his armpits, trying to lift. He was solid, dense, and his right leg. When she looked down, she saw the bone-white gleam of tibia through the torn fabric of his pants, blood pooling in the gravel beneath him. The horn sounded again, closer, maybe a mile. "I can't. You're too heavy. I need you to—" Maya grunted, but he wasn't helping. His head lolled back, eyes rolling. He was going out. The light from the train's headlamp began to paint the underpass walls white. Maya Rodriguez, 28 years old, $1,847 in her checking account, $71 in her work vest for her mother's blood pressure medication, made a decision that had nothing to do with heroism and everything to do with the simple, animal fact that she couldn't walk away from a body on the tracks, not even a stranger's, not even when staying meant risking the only thing keeping her mother alive in a care facility in Houston, herself. She got behind him, hooked her arms under his shoulders, locked her hands across his chest, and pulled. He didn't budge. She reset her grip, planted her boots in the gravel, and hauled with everything she had. Her lower back screamed. The muscles in her thighs felt like they were tearing. He moved maybe 6 inches, his broken leg dragging, leaving a dark smear across the wooden railroad tie. The train's engine roar filled the underpass now, a wall of sound that made her teeth ache. She shifted her weight, got lower, tried to fireman carry him, get his torso across her shoulders, use her legs instead of her arms. His weight came up, then crashed back down, nearly taking her with it. She felt something pop in her shoulder, hot and wrong. "Come on, come on, come on!" she screamed, but her voice was lost in the mechanical shriek of steel on steel as the train hit the curve a quarter-mile out. One more try. She got her shoulder under his chest, her legs shaking, and this time when she stood, he came with her, dead weight slung across her back like a sack of concrete mix. She couldn't see, couldn't breathe. Her vision tunneled to just the gravel slope ahead, the 6 feet of distance between the tracks and the fence line that might as well have been 6 miles. She took another step anyway. The horn was directly behind her now, a sustained blast that she felt in her bones, and then her boot hit something, a broken piece of railroad tie, a rock she never knew, and she was falling forward, falling with him still across her shoulders, and they hit the gravel slope together, rolling, his weight crushing down on her ribs as they tumbled into the drainage ditch at the fence line. The train screamed past, 6 inches, maybe less, close enough that the displaced air tore at her jacket, threw gravel into her face, deafened her. She couldn't hear her own breathing, or his, or anything except the thunder of 60 freight cars rattling through the space where they'd just been. Through the gaps between the cars, flashes of light and shadow strobing past, she caught glimpses of the opposite side of the tracks. 3 men standing in the empty parking lot of the closed Korean barbecue restaurant, backlit by a single street light. They'd been watching, waiting. One of them saw her through the gap, pointed, shouted something in Korean she couldn't hear over the train's roar. They started running, not toward her side, but parallel to the tracks, looking for a crossing point. The train was 60 cars long, 3 minutes at 40 miles per hour, 3 minutes before they could reach her. Maya didn't waste time checking if the stranger was breathing. She grabbed him under the shoulders and dragged him, using the train noise as cover, away from the fence and into the service alley she knew led behind the bakery. The narrow one that connected to the loading docks, that twisted through the blocks like a maze only someone who emptied dumpsters here would know. Her phone was already out. She pulled up Leo's contact while hauling the stranger another 10 feet. "Maya, you okay?" Leo Gutierrez asked, picking up on the second ring, his voice rough with sleep.
"I need you. Now," Maya hissed. "But not H-Mart. They're there. Corner of 8th and Vermont. The abandoned mechanic shop. There's people hunting us, and I can't explain just... Leo, please." She heard him moving already, heard the jingle of keys. "I'm 10 minutes out. You armed?" Leo asked. "Pepper spray," she replied. "Get somewhere with one exit and watch it. I'm coming," Leo ordered. The stranger's eyes opened, just for a second. Dark, unfocused, swimming with pain and something else. Not gratitude. Fear. Pure animal fear. "Please," he whispered in English. "Not hospital. They will find. They will finish." His breath caught, pain cutting him off. Then he was gone again, unconscious, and Maya was dragging him through alleys she could navigate blind, while somewhere behind them, past the still passing train, 3 men with guns were looking for a way across. The abandoned mechanic shop had been her refuge more than once during long shifts, a place to take an unsanctioned break, to get out of the rain, to hide from supervisors doing spot checks. She knew the gap in the rolling door, knew the layout, knew there was only one entrance, and she could watch it from behind the stack of rotting pallets. She got the stranger inside and positioned herself where she could see the street, pulled out the pepper spray with shaking hands. 5 minutes crawled past, then 10. Headlights swept across the alley mouth. Not Leo's Nissan, a black Hyundai sedan, moving slowly, searchlights slow, hunting. Maya held her breath. The car paused at the mechanic shop. A man got out, one of the 3 from the tracks. He had something in his hand that caught the streetlight wrong. Not a phone, something angular and metallic, He took 3 steps toward the rolling door. Then his phone buzzed. He answered it, listened, spoke quickly in Korean, got back in the car.
Ooh, things are getting intense. Before we dive in, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Also, go ahead and turn on those post notifications and join the family so you can enjoy more thrilling stories just like Maya and Jin-seo's.
The Hyundai pulled away, tires crunching over broken glass. 30 seconds later, Leo's Nissan rattled into the alley, its engine's death rattle, the most beautiful sound Maya had ever heard. Leo squeezed through the gap in the door, took one look at the unconscious man, saw the blood, and his expression went flat. Combat medic flat. Gunshot graze, compound fracture, maybe 4 hours old, Leo said, checking the man's pupils with a penlight. Who is he? I don't know, Maya stammered. I found him on the tracks. The train was coming and She stopped. There were men hunting him. They're still out there. Jesus Christ, Maya, Leo breathed out, but he was already moving, getting his shoulder under the stranger's arm. We can't take him to county. Gunshot means police, and police means those guys waiting at the hospital. I know a veterinarian, runs a cash clinic. How much? She asked. 800, maybe more if it's bad, Leo replied. The number hit her like a fist. $800, half her mother's medication, a quarter of the rent. I'll figure it out, she heard herself say. They got him into Leo's Nissan, laid out in the back seat, and pulled out of the alley using the route Maya mapped in her head. Side streets, residential blocks, nothing main, nothing obvious. Behind them, the Hyundai never appeared, but Maya kept checking the mirrors anyway. Dr. Anwar's garage clinic in Huntington Park smelled like antiseptic and old blood. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Anwar, Pakistani, 60s, with the steady hands of someone who'd done surgery in worse conditions, cut away the stranger's blood-soaked coat. Gunshot graze. The leg is the problem, Anwar said, his face neutral. I can set it. 800, half now. Maya transferred 400 from her emergency fund. The ping of the transaction felt like a betrayal. Leo pulled the other 400 from an ATM receipt in his wallet, crumpled bills that smelled like gasoline. Anwar pocketed the money without counting and got to work. Setting the leg took 40 minutes. The stranger woke up screaming twice. The second time, his eyes found Maya and locked on like she was the only fixed point in a world of pain. She didn't look away. When it was done, when the leg was splinted and the graze bandaged and the painkillers administered, Anwar stripped off his gloves and washed his hands with the slow deliberation of a man buying time to think. Finally, he turned around. You should leave him here, Anwar said quietly. I'll make a call. Someone will come get him. You walk away clean. Someone who? Maya asked. Men like this bring fire, Anwar replied, gesturing to the stranger's collar, where a tattoo was just visible. Korean characters, black ink, professional work. Whoever he is, whatever he's running from, it will burn you too if you stay close. On the table, the stranger's eyes opened, clearer now, focused. Thank you, doctor, the stranger said in perfect English, barely accented. But I'm leaving with them. You can barely stand, Anwar said, shaking his head. Then I'll crawl, the stranger retorted. He pushed himself upright, his face going white with pain. The people hunting me have resources. They'll check every clinic, every hospital, anyone who might have treated a gunshot in the past 12 hours. You've done enough, more than enough. But you need to close this place tonight. Go stay with family, somewhere they won't think to look. Who are you? Anwar asked, going pale. Someone who just lost a war, the stranger replied. He looked at Leo, then at Maya. Your name, he demanded softly. Maya, she replied. Maya, he said, like he was filing it away. I'm Kim Jin-seo. The men hunting me are my former business partners, brothers once. They think I'm dead. If they find out I'm alive, anyone helping me becomes a target. You can drop me at the address and drive away, or you can stay and help me for 3 days, and I'll make it worth $800.
Your choice." "How worth it?" Maya asked. 20,000. Cash, Jin-seo answered. The number hung in the air between them. "Why that much?" Maya asked. "Because that's what your risk is worth," he said. "And because I have it. I'm not a good man, Maya, but I pay my debts. Always." She should have dropped him off and driven away. Instead, she spoke. "Where's the apartment?" Maya asked. The studio apartment smelled like cigarettes and abandonment. They laid Jin-seo on a mattress on the floor, and he was unconscious again before his head hit the pillow. Leo pressed a bottle of antibiotics into Maya's hand, label scratched off, black market. 2 every 6 hours, Leo instructed. Watch for fever. If the leg smells sweet, like fruit, that's gangrene. Hospital, no matter what he says. "How long you been carrying illegal antibiotics?" Maya asked. "Since the VA decided my nephew's pneumonia wasn't service-related," Leo replied. He headed for the door, then paused. "You sure about this?" Maya looked at Jin-seo, unconscious and broken, looked at her phone, at the bank balance that was $400 lighter than it had been 4 hours ago. $20,000, Leo. That's 16 months of my mother's medication, she said. "If he's not lying," Leo warned. "If he's not lying," Maya echoed. After Leo left, Maya sat against the wall and watched a stranger breathe. She called her supervisor, used her first sick day in 2 years. Then she walked 3 blocks to a bodega and bought canned soup, water, and Tylenol with the last of her cash. When she got back, Jin-seo was awake, propped against the wall, his face gray with pain. "You came back," he observed. "You said 3 days, Maya replied. "I did," he said, watching her unpack the supplies. "Why?" "You said you could turn 800 into 20,000. I'm holding you to that," she stated. Something shifted in his expression. Not surprise, respect maybe. "That's honest," Jin-seo said. "I can't afford anything else right now," Maya admitted. "Then let me be honest too," Jin-seo said slowly. "I can get the money. It will take 3 days. A man will meet you at a location with it. But it's a risk. If my former partners find out you're connected to me, they won't be kind. The alternative is you spend $800 you don't have on a stranger who can't pay you back." "How much money exactly?" Maya asked. 20,000. All yours," he promised. Maya thought about her mother, confused and frightened, asking when Maya was coming home, about the $1,447 left in her account, about the freight train's horn screaming behind her while she'd hauled Jin-seo towards safety. "What do I have to do?" she asked. The fever hit Jin-seo on the second day. Maya awoke to find him shaking on the mattress, delirious, muttering in Korean. She forced antibiotics down his throat, pressed cold towels to his forehead, watched the hours crawl past. Around 2 a.m., he grabbed her wrist with frightening strength. His eyes were open but unseeing. "They cut me out," he rasped in English. 15 years, I built half the business, and Hyung-min and the others, they wanted my share, said I was getting old, losing my edge." He laughed, a sound bitter and broken. "So I went to the FBI. Not to save anyone, not to be righteous, to burn them, burn everything. If I couldn't have it, they couldn't either." Maya said nothing, just kept the towels coming. "The wire I wore for 2 months, I gave them everything, names, routes, accounts. The FBI was going to seize 40 million in assets. I was going to get 15% as a recovery bonus, $6 million to start over somewhere else." His eyes focused on you suddenly, with terrible clarity. "Then someone in the FBI leaked. Hyung-min found out, put 2 bullets in me and left me on those tracks as a message to anyone else thinking about turning." "Jin-seo, you're turning up. You need to—" "I'm not a good man, Maya," he interrupted, his grip tightening. "I never was. I didn't turn because children were being hurt. I turned because I was being stolen from. You should know that. Before you decide to stay, you should know exactly who you saved." Then the fever took him under again.
and he was gone, thrashing and incoherent. At 5 a.m. on the third day, the fever broke. He woke up weak but lucid, soaked in sweat, staring at the ceiling. "You're still here," he said. "You said 3 days," Maya replied. "I did," he said, turning his head to look at her. "How much of what I said do you remember?" "All of it," she answered. Jin-seo was quiet for a long moment. "And you're still here," he noted. "The money's still real, isn't it?" Maya asked. "Yes," he replied. "Then I'm still here," Maya said. She pulled out her phone, checked the date. "It's day 3. Where's the pickup?" Jin-seo gave her the address of Seoul Pressing, a dry cleaner in Torrance, made her practice the Korean phrase until she got the tones right, told her to ask for Park Sun-hee, say the phrase, "Take the envelope." "If anyone follows you, anyone at all, dump the envelope and disappear. Don't come back here, just run." "What about you?" Maya asked. "I'll manage," he lied. She didn't believe him, but she took the bus to Torrance anyway, watching every car, every passenger, her heart hammering. Seoul Pressing was exactly where Jin-seo said it would be. Park Sun-hee was an old man with military posture and sharp eyes. When Maya spoke the phrase, he reached under the counter and produced a manila envelope. Jin-seo chose well. But know this, by taking that envelope, you're choosing a side in a war. His brothers will not stop looking, and when they find out about you, they will not be kind. Maya took the envelope without responding. On the bus back, she watched every car with the kind of paranoia that would become normal. A black sedan followed for 3 blocks before peeling off. Her hands didn't stop shaking until she was back at the apartment. Jin-seo was standing, barely, leaning against the wall. When he saw her, relief washed across his face. "You made it," he breathed. She handed him the envelope. He opened it, counted quickly, then held it out to her. 20,000, like I promised," he said. Maya stared at the money, more than she'd ever seen in her life. "There's something else you should know," Jin-seo began. "My former brothers found out I survived. Park would have reported the pickup, it's protocol. They'll be looking for me now, looking for anyone who helped me." He met her eyes. "You can take that money and disappear. New city, new identity if you're smart. Or, Maya asked. "Or you can stay. Help me finish what I started," he proposed. "I still have evidence. Bank records, shell companies, hidden ledgers. The FBI case is dead. I'm a burned informant now, worthless to them. But there's another way. A journalist. A way to expose everything publicly, force the arrests through pressure instead of cooperation." "What's the pay?" Maya asked. 80,000 a year, cash, plus protection."
"What kind of work?" she asked. "Courier, mostly," he explained. "You'd pick up packages, make deliveries, observe. Simple tasks with measurable risks. But there's one job that only you can do. One thing that changes everything." "What?" Maya pressed. Jin-seo pulled out a Polaroid photo. It showed a grease trap, industrial, massive, the kind used at rail yards. "My brothers keep their offshore ledgers on an encrypted drive," he said. "The encryption key is physical, a jagged piece of metal, broken in half. One half is with Hyung-min, the other half, I hid it inside that grease trap of the Union Pacific maintenance yard off Alameda." "Why there?" Maya asked. "Because it's city property," Jin-seo replied, with a slight smile. "The FBI can't access it without a warrant, which would take weeks and tip off everyone. My brothers can't access it because there's too much security. Cameras, guards, the whole yard is locked down. But you're a sanitation worker. You have work orders, access. You're invisible. You could walk right in during your route, retrieve the key, walk out, and no one would question it." Maya hesitated, looked at the grease trap that probably weighed 200 pounds and contained God knew what inside. "And if I get caught?" she asked. "With the key, you're a sanitation worker who found something shiny in a grease trap. No crime," he assured. "But if my brothers figure out what you're doing before you finish," He trailed off. What happens after I get the key? Maya asked. Then we have leverage. The offshore ledgers contain 40 million in assets. Account numbers, access codes, everything. With both halves of the key, we can decrypt the drive, give it to a journalist, blow the whole operation open. My brothers get arrested, their money gets seized, and you... He paused. The FBI pays 15% recovery bonuses on seized criminal assets, $6 million. We split it. 3 for you, 3 for me. $3 million. The number was so large it didn't feel real. Why not keep it all for yourself? Maya asked. Because I can't get the key without you, he admitted. Because I need someone I can trust, someone who's motivated by numbers, not loyalty or honor or any of the things that get people killed. You're doing this for your mother, for money. I understand that. I can work with that. It's the only thing I trust anymore. Maya thought about her mother forgetting her name, about the 20,000 in her hands that could buy 16 months of stability, about the 3 million that could buy forever. When do I start? She asked. The next week, Maya went back to work, back to the sanitation routes, the 3:15 a.m. freight, the 12 blocks she knew by heart. But now she was watching different things: exit routes, security cameras, the patterns of when the rail yard gates were open, when the guards changed shift. Jin-seo recovered slowly. Park came once. Alone, no army, just one old man with a cane who brought antibiotics and clean clothes and spoke to Jin-seo in low, serious Korean. After Park left, Jin-seo explained. The organization fractured after they thought I died. Some sided with my brothers. Some went independent. Park is loyal to me, but he's one man. We're rebuilding from nothing. What about the journalist? Maya asked. Her name is Sarah Chen, investigative reporter for the LA Times. She's been trying to crack Korean organized crime for 3 years. I've already made contact. She knows about the offshore ledgers. She's waiting for proof. Maya met Sarah a week later at a coffee shop in Thai-town. She was early 40s, sharp-eyed, with a wary professionalism of someone who'd been burned by sources before. Jin-seo says you're getting the encryption key, Sarah said without preamble. That's the plan, Maya replied. And you trust him? Sarah asked. I trust that he wants revenge. That's enough. That's honest. Good, Sarah said, smiling slightly. I don't trust reformed criminals, but I trust angry ones. When you have the key, call me. I'll run the story the same day, front page. The FBI won't be able to ignore it. 2 weeks later, Maya had the route memorized. The grease trap was serviced every 6 weeks by the city. She'd check the records. The next service was scheduled for Friday at 6 a.m. She could swap the work order, show up instead, and have 20 minutes alone with the trap. The night before, Jin-seo gave her a modified socket wrench. The key is inside a waterproof case, magnetic. It's stuck to the interior wall of the trap, about 3 feet down. You'll have to reach through the grease to find it. Lovely, Maya dan-panned. I know, but it's the only place they'd never think to look. If something goes wrong, if you see anyone suspicious, if you feel like you're being watched, abort, drop the whole thing and run. The key isn't worth your life. $3 million says otherwise, she countered. Maybe, but I've already gotten you in deeper than you should be. I won't have your death on my conscience too. Didn't know you had one, Maya remarked. I don't, but I'm working on it, he admitted. Friday morning, Maya showed up at the rail yard at 5:45 a.m. in her sanitation truck, showed her ID to the guard, showed the forged work order, drove through the gate like she'd done it 100 times. The grease trap was exactly where Jin-seo said it would be. Industrial, massive, and when she popped the lid, the smell hit her like a physical force. She pulled on elbow-length gloves, took a breath, and reached down into the rancid grease. 3 feet down, groping blind. Her fingers touched something hard, plastic. She gripped it, pulled. The waterproof case came free with a sucking sound. She cracked it open. There, inside, was half of a jagged metal key, exactly as Jin-seo described. She was sealing the case when she heard the car. Not a rail yard vehicle. A black Hyundai sedan. The same one from the night she'd rescued Jin-seo. It pulled up 20 feet away. 2 men got out. Maya's heart stopped. She forced herself to keep moving, closed the grease trap lid, packed her tools, walked calmly to her truck like nothing was wrong. One of the men called out in Korean. She didn't understand the words, but understood the tone. Stop. She got in the truck, started the engine. The man started walking toward her, his hand moving to his jacket. Maya put the truck in reverse, swung around, and drove for the gate. Behind her, she heard shouting, heard a car door slam. The guard at the gate looked up, confused as she came through doing 40 in a 25 zone. "Equipment malfunction! Gotta get back to the depot!" she yelled out the window. The Hyundai was behind her now, following. Maya did what Jin-seo had taught her, used the service alleys, the routes only sanitation workers knew, twisted through Boyle Heights, through residential blocks with speed bumps and narrow corners, until finally the Hyundai fell back, unable to keep up. She didn't stop until she was at Leo's apartment in El Sereno. Called Jin-seo from a burner phone, her hands still shaking. "I got it, but they saw me. Jin-seo, they saw me," she reported. "Are you safe?" he asked. "For now, I'm at Leo's," she said. "Stay there. I'm sending Park to get you. We need to move fast now. They know someone's making a play," he ordered. 6 hours later, Maya was in a different safe house, this one in Los Feliz, owned by one of Park's cousins. Jin-seo arrived with a laptop and equipment she didn't recognize. He took the half key from her like it was the Holy Grail, combined it with the other half he'd kept hidden. Together, they formed a complete encryption key. "How long until you crack the drive?" Maya asked. "It's already cracked. I just needed both halves physically present," Jin-seo explained, plugging the drive into the laptop. "The encryption is old school, air-gapped. The key has to be in the same room as the drive to work. That's why it was split." The laptop screen filled with files, account numbers, transactions, names. $40 million in offshore accounts, all of it documented. Jin-seo copied everything to a secure thumb drive. Then he called Sarah Chen. "I have it, all of it. How fast can you publish?" he asked into the phone. "Front page tomorrow morning, Sunday edition, biggest readership of the week," Sarah's voice replied. "It's better than I said," Jin-seo assured her. He looked at Maya. "Send someone to pick it up. We'll make the drop in 2 hours." After he hung up, Maya spoke. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now we wait for the arrests. Federal agents don't like being scooped by newspapers. The moment Sarah's story hits, they'll have to move fast to save face. Seizure warrants, raids, the works." He paused. "And we wait for the recovery bonus. 3 million each," Maya murmured. "If we're lucky, if the seizures go smoothly," he qualified. He looked at her seriously. "But there's one more thing you should know. The man who shot me, Choi Hyung-min, he's the smart one, the dangerous one. The others will take plea deals to avoid trial. But Hyung-min, he'll fight, and he'll come for anyone who helped bring him down." "Meaning me," Maya realized. "Meaning both of us," he confirmed. Sarah Chen's story ran Sunday morning. $40 million in offshore accounts linked to human trafficking ring. The FBI moved by Monday afternoon. Raids across Koreatown, Torrance, Los Angeles. 17 arrests, $8 million in cash seized from various locations. The offshore accounts were frozen pending investigation. Maya watched it all on the news from the Los Feliz safe house, Park standing guard outside, Jin-seo beside her on the couch with his leg still in a cast. "How long until the bonus?" Maya asked. 6 months minimum, federal bureaucracy, Jin-seo replied. He glanced at her. "But I have the 20,000, plus another 30 for hazard pay. You don't have to wait." $50,000, more than she'd ever imagined having, but not 3 million. "I'll wait," she decided.
3 months later, the plea deal started. 14 defendants took agreements, gave up information in exchange for reduced sentences. The case files grew. The asset recovery number climbed to 43 million, but Choi Hyung-min refused to deal. His lawyer filed motion after motion, delayed, stalled, and leaked to the press that there was a confidential informant, a former insider who'd orchestrated the FBI investigation. Jin-seo's name never appeared in the articles, but people in Koreatown started asking questions, making connections. One night, Park pulled Maya aside. Hyung-min's people know Jin-seo is alive, Park warned. They don't know where, but they're looking, and they figured out someone helped him survive that night on the tracks. They're checking everyone: dry cleaners, clinics, sanitation workers who called in sick that week. "How long do I have?" Maya asked. "Maybe a month, maybe less," Park said. "You need to decide what you're going to do. Disappear now with the 50,000 Jin-seo already gave you, or stay and wait for the 3 million, knowing Hyung-min's people are hunting for you." Maya thought about her mother, now transferred to a care facility in Los Angeles, paid up for 6 months with the money Jin-seo had fronted her, about the promise of 3 million that would solve everything forever, about the weight of a stranger's body across her shoulders, the train's horn screaming, the choice she'd made that had brought her here. "I'm staying," she stated. Park nodded like he'd expected that. "Then you need to learn how to shoot, and you need to start varying your patterns, because when Hyung-min figures out who you are, he won't send a warning, he'll send a bullet." 6 months after the arrests, the FBI called. The asset recovery was complete, 43 million seized. The 15% recovery bonus came to $6.45 million, split between Maya and Jin-seo, $3.225 million each. The money was transferred to an account in Maya's name, real, legal, taxable. A check from the United States Department of Justice. She stared at the number on her phone screen and felt nothing. The amount was too large to be real. Jin-seo called her that night. "You did it. We did it. You're set for life," he told her. "What about Hyung-min?" Maya asked. "Trial starts in 3 weeks. His lawyer is still fighting. But even if he's convicted, he'll have people on the outside, people who remember, people who want revenge," Jin-seo warned. "I'm leaving Los Angeles. New city, new identity, new life. The money makes that possible. You should do the same." "And just disappear?" Maya asked. "It's the smart play. Take your mother somewhere safe, somewhere they'll never think to look," he advised. Maya stood at her apartment window, looking out at the city she'd lived in for 2 years, the city that had nearly killed her, that had transformed her from a sanitation worker into something else, something harder. "I'll think about it," she said. But she didn't leave. Instead, she did something else, something that surprised even her. She bought a gun, a Glock 19, legal and registered, learned how to use it at a range in Riverside, far from anyone who might recognize her, got her concealed carry permit. She kept working the sanitation routes, not because she needed the money anymore, but because the routine was cover, because being invisible had value, because the 3:15 a.m. freight still ran on schedule and she needed to remember what happened on those tracks. Her mother's facility in Los Angeles was top tier now, private room, specialized care, medication that actually slowed the disease's progression. Maya visited twice a week. Her mother recognized her about half the time. On good days, they talked about Houston, about Maya's father, about the life they'd had before everything fell apart. On bad days, her mother looked at her like a stranger and asked when her daughter was coming to visit. Maya stopped correcting her. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Choi Hyung-min was convicted on 17 counts, sentenced to 40 years, no parole. As the verdict was read, Hyung-min stared straight ahead, his expression cold and empty. But just before the bailiffs took him away, he said something in Korean to his lawyer. The lawyer wrote it down. 2 days later, Park called Maya. Hyung-min sent a message to Jin-seo
to you, to everyone who helped bring him down," Park relayed. He said, "40 years. I can wait, but my brothers can't. Tell the sanitation woman she remembers her face." "Is that a threat?" Maya asked. "In our world, that's a promise," Park replied. Maya hung up and sat in her apartment, the new one, nicer, in a better neighborhood, and tried to feel afraid. But she didn't feel fear. She felt something colder, something that had been building in her for months. She felt ready. That night, she went back to the underpass beneath 6th Street. The 3:15 a.m. freight rattled through right on schedule, shaking rust loose from the bridge supports. The sound, a physical thing in her chest. She stood where she'd found Jin-seo bleeding out and made a decision. She wasn't leaving Los Angeles, wasn't disappearing, wasn't running. Because Hyung Men was right. His brothers couldn't wait 40 years. They were out there now, planning, watching, and eventually one of them would make a move. When they did, Maya would be ready. She'd learned too much to go back to who she was before, learned how to disappear in plain sight, how to read threats and body language and car patterns, how to use her sanitation routes as intelligence, seeing things other people missed, how to pull a trigger without hesitating. Jin-seo had been right about one thing. Numbers could be solved. She'd solved for her mother's medication, for the rent, for the future. But she'd also learned that some equations had remainders, costs that couldn't be calculated in dollars. She'd saved $3 million and lost something she couldn't name, some clean part of herself that used to be able to pull a stranger off train tracks without calculating whether it was worth the risk. Now everything was calculation. Risk versus reward, threat versus response. She was no longer the woman who'd hauled Jin-seo towards safety because it was the right thing to do. She was the woman who did it because the math worked out. The freight's whistle faded into the distance. Maya placed a coffee cup on the wall where she'd first lain Jin-seo down, still warm, still untouched, a ritual she'd maintained for 6 months now. Someone always took the coffee. She never saw who, but she knew it wasn't an offering anymore. It was a marker, a reminder to herself of the before and after, of the choice she'd made and couldn't unmake. She walked back to her truck, not the sanitation truck anymore, but a Nissan she'd bought with cash, armored and discreet, and drove through the pre-dawn streets toward her route. In 6 hours, her mother's facility would call to confirm next month's payment. The account would have the money, would always have the money now. In 40 years, Choi Hyung-men would be released from federal prison, an old man with a long memory. But before then, his brothers would come. One of them, maybe all of them. And when they did, Maya Rodriguez, 29 years old, $3.2 million in offshore accounts, a Glock 19 in her jacket, and the weight of steel and choice still warm in her bones, would be waiting. The equation was solved, but the remainder was blood, and she'd learned to live with that.
I really hope you enjoyed the story, fam. If you did, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and definitely turn on those post notifications. You might also like one of these videos popping up on your screen right now. Click one, and I'll see you there.